What's up, YouTube peeps? Sean, the average angler here, and we are back from Clear Lake. And I'm sorry I did not record footage because, quite honestly, the bite was kind of all over the place and so random. I never got on a money spot, if you will, and it changed throughout the week. The bite did. So Saturday and Sunday was pouring, the wind was blowing, and the bite was pretty good. But I knew, and I forgot rain shoes. Yeah, so I had tennis shoes, I had icicles for toes, and that sucked. So we'll go on to Monday where the weather straightened out. Because I knew the bite was going to change because the weather was changing, drastically changing, okay? It was going to get stable and nice out. The sun was going to be out. Water temperatures were going to come up. The full moon's this coming week. So I knew things were going to change. Anyway, Monday, we had a good time, and I was with one of the pros staying at the house I fished with, Steve Lund. I fished with on Monday and Tuesday, and we struggled a bit, but we also caught some really good fish. If we caught a fish, it was over 4 pounds. Now, the first bite we got on was a flipping bite with a Zoom brush hog. This isn't the color, it was watermelon with purple. But I talked to several other people, and it just seemed that it had to be a watermelon-based brush hog. Watermelon candy, watermelon purple, watermelon red, and they would eat it. So after the flip bite, we started to notice fish rising in the column and hanging out under docks, which is what I thought we wanted to see. And I'll get to that. Stick around, because it's a good in-depth report. Let's get to my partners that I paired with, so just so you can know who it was. Shane Pearson, day one. Miles Howe, an FLW Invitational Touring Pro, day two. And the one and only Paul Big Baits Bailey. He is a guide on Clear Lake. Phenomenal guy, doesn't know how to turn off the instructor guide in him, and it was definitely the best day I've ever spent on the water, and for multiple reasons, and you're gonna have to stick around to the end to find that out. Anyway, light line really came into play in this event. As the fish began moving up and flocking to the banks, they had one thing in mind, and that was spawning. So early in the week and throughout, the glide bait played a bit. And I say a bit because it wasn't, it was something you had to toss around in key areas and in the right type of spots. But honestly, most of the time they didn't bite it. And I didn't get bit on it. However, I know people who did, and most of it was paralleling docks in the afternoon when those fish were sunning under the docks. And occasionally you'd find some that would charge out at it and eat it. But it was far and few between. I made an adjustment in my spinning gear. So in practice, I got broke off a couple times. Throwing a Wacky rigged Senko on that little owner hook. It actually had the weedless things. They're long gone. This is my G Loomis IMX Pro Ned rig rod. And I started out with a different rod and heavier line, a little stiffer rod, and basically got schooled several times. So I switched to this, which was, I went from 15-pound braid and 12-pound line getting broke off to 10 and 8-pound fluorocarbon. This rod is way more limber. I was fearful, but I had no problems getting the fish to the boat in the tournament with this rod. And the other thing is, I got bit more. So day one, I was with Shane Pearson, and we started in State Park with about 20, 25 other boats, which is probably why the fish wouldn't go. They're just pinging going on everywhere. And that was a swim bait and glide bait deal. He was scoping them. We didn't get any. I caught one Senko fish in a creek at the end of the day, and we weighed in one fish. Miles Howe on day two. We threw shaky heads with a Z-Man FattyZ in Canada craw, and he was throwing a green pumpkin. I caught 3 fish on his starting spot. None of them kept, which I was really shocked because, like I said, I hadn't caught a fish under 4 pounds. Anyway, we didn't get any fish there. We ended up at midday going sight fishing, and that's how we caught all of our fish, bed fishing. The bite was really deteriorating by day 2 for anything that wasn't either a swim bait, a glide bait, or bed fishing, quite honestly. It is what it is. I mean, the fish, I did not think they'd rush the bank and get on beds that fast, and boy, was I wrong. Day 3, by far the best day weight-wise, by far the best fishing experience I've ever had. We weighed 28.06, and Paul's a guide, and Paul is a instructor, and that's just kind of how he fishes. So he was really great to be on the boat with. We had a blast, you know. He taught me the ins and outs of fishing a trash fish, which on Clearlake is a very, very key bait, and that's the one I was throwing. That's a hitch, 8/0 hook, 20-pound test, and Paul caught 6 or 7 fish on the trash fish, 2 of which we weighed in, both over 5 pounds. The trash, any bait actually needed to be picked up, fished, and put down. On one of the spots, Paul caught a trash fish, I think it was about 6 pounds, 6.5 pounds, and I caught two fish, which got us to our limit on a 5-inch Senko 925 fished weightless. I just found if I put the weight in it, I wasn't getting bit, and I had to throw slack in the line. If you moved it, they weren't gonna bite it, which really sucks because I don't really like fishing that way, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do to get bit. One of those, so those 2 were about 2.5, 3.5 pounds. We then moved on to a bed fishing area that Paul had, and we just had a blast. It was a 4-dock section down on the lower end of the lake in the Redbud Arm, and we culled out I think 3 times. I got a 5.5 on a Senko just kind of fan casting around in a bedding area while Paul was working a bed. Again, it was on that Loomis IMX Pro Ned rig rod, 10-pound braid to 8-pound fluorocarb. The other bait that worked early on was a Ned-headed Senko, or a shaky head if you want. And that's really how we caught them. As the days went on, it became more and more prevalent. The trash fish bite was slowly going away, and it was just because the number of fish running to the bank was leaving a void. Typically, the spawn cycle will go and go and go. So as those fish move up from staging, more fish are coming to the staging area. And that's what I prefer to fish, is staging fish. In this case, it seemed like when it got nice, boom, they all went. I still believe there's another wave to come. I don't know where it is. It must have been out in deep water somewhere still. I don't really know. I don't know what to say. It's only April. Last year, fish were spawning into June. I still think we'll see fish spawning into May. And then in a couple weeks, when it's post-spawn, those glide baits are going to turn on. The flip fish are going to turn on. The topwater fish are going to turn on. They're already catching them on frogs. There was guys who were catching them on frogs pretty good in this tournament in certain areas. The trash fish will work as long as the hitch are up. But the hitch like colder water, and they're going to disappear and go to the middle of the lake and hang out deep. So that bite will fade away. Anyway, Paul and I weighed 2806. Now here's the thing. Paul, I had the most fun I think I've ever had fishing a tournament. And it's not just the bite. It's Paul's just a confident, inspirational person to fish with. He was even keeled all day. We got excited, high-fived when we caught a good one. When we got a limit. And he's just a joy to be around. So if you're wanting to take a guide trip at Clearlake, I suggest Paul Bailey. Okay, look him up. I will try and find a link. It's Big Bait Bailey Guide Service. I will find a link and put it down in the description. If you want to fly in from out of state and go fish on one of the country's best fisheries, Paul will take care of you, okay? He never hauled ass around the lake. He drove 45 to 50 all the time. Morning blast off on. Just, and I knew then, I thought, wow, he's not concerned at all about zooming from one place to another. The nice thing is it doesn't beat your body up from the rough water. And anyway, he's a true teacher, folks, and he's going to put you on fish. He takes a lot of pride in what he does. He's always on fish. He's going to put you on fish, and if there's something you want to learn in particular, just let him know. He'll tell you when to come, and he's going to put you on fish. You're going to have a good time. Sorry I didn't get more videos out. Like I said, the weather was horrendous when I got there Saturday and Sunday. It was pouring, the wind was howling. It was, and I didn't have rain shoes. I ordered some on Amazon, and they got there Monday, which is great. And now I have an extra pair I'll probably keep in the truck, just so that I will not have this happen again. I find as I get older, I forget more and more and more. One morning I forgot my vest. Actually, 2 mornings I forgot my vest. One in practice, one in the tournament. Steve Lund, also a guide, by the way, in Arizona. He helped me out with a vest each day that I forgot. But anyway, thanks for watching the channel. Really appreciate it. We're over 1,000, so that's really cool. And hopefully we'll get some more stuff going here soon. A buddy of mine and me are going back to Clearlake in a few weeks. We want the post spawn because we want to throw big baits. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Shot on the Average Angler. Cheers.